Electricity isn't the only alternative to gasoline. Natural gas is another option. Skoda's G-Tec system is the latest attempt to construct a natural gas hybrid capable of moving the masses. After the Citigo G-Tec, the Czech automaker now has two other family-friendly models, a sedan and a station wagon. The 1.4-liter TSI hybrid motor is most energy efficient when it's running on natural gas. When it burns gasoline, it has a capacity of 81 kilowatts. Car test of Funk Mountains tells us that the car has a radius of 1,330 kilometers, 410 of them while running on natural gas. Compared with a conventional 1.4-liter gasoline engine, the G-Tec has 22 kilowatts less capacity, which of course decreases performance. When running on natural gas, the G-Tec station wagon has a top speed of 193 kilometers an hour and goes from 0 to 100 in 11 seconds. But it emits only 97 grams of carbon dioxide per kilometer. That's 24 grams less than a conventional gasoline engine and benefits the environment. Merton says the handling and chassis is what one expects from a Skoda Octavia. The G-Tec makes no difference here. In fact, it may be even more fun because drivers can see from the fuel consumption gauge how cheaply and efficiently they're driving. Now and again, of course, the G-Tec has to stop for refueling, preferably with natural gas. There are currently around 900 facilities for this in Germany. Two filler pipes are behind the fuel flap. Filling the car up with natural gas has many drivers rubbing their eyes. Natural gas is almost unbelievably cheap. Merton says you need 3 kilograms of natural gas to go 100 kilometers. That's fantastically efficient, and drivers don't have to sacrifice driving dynamics. Skoda has put an impressive vehicle on the road.
Das ist schon wirklich sehr, sehr gut, was Skoda hier an Auto auf die Straße gebracht hat.
The basic G-Tec station wagon costs around 22,500 euros in Germany, some 2,000 euros more than the conventional 1.4-liter gasoline model. Skoda head of communications Pike van Bestenbostel says sustainability begins with the cars themselves and continues with the production. He says that Skoda tries to offer affordable and effective options for customers on a budget. The interior of the car we tested is pleasant, bright, and despite the hybrid drive, just as roomy as a standard Octavia. The natural gas tank is located under the floor of the trunk. The tank does reduce trunk space to 460 liters, though. That's 25% smaller than in the conventional gasoline model. The start-stop system and brake energy regeneration also help save fuel. This year, readers of a German automotive magazine chose the conventional Octavia as the most sensible car around. And the Czech car maker has upped the stakes with the natural gas model. Alternative fuels are good for the environment and the pocketbook. Merton says the G-Tec is worth the asking price. Even if the hybrid model is a bit pricier, it pays for itself in the long run. At the moment, natural gas only costs around €1.10. Since the car uses only 3 kilograms per 100 kilometers, you can drive that distance for only €3.30. Conventional gasoline-driven cars can't compete.
Und damit schlägt dieser Octavia G-Tec jeden klassischen Verbrenner.
Skoda is already producing the Octavia G-Tec in its main plant in the Czech Republic, and the car will hit the showrooms this month. With the first Qashqai in 2007, Nissan essentially created the crossover segment. The aim was clear: to develop an SUV that had all the advantages of a normal passenger car. The Qashqai's natural environment was curvy country lanes, not off-road terrain, and that was reflected in the way it drove. Car tester Sasha Knopp says that you only need to drive a few meters to realize that this is a car with a good chassis. The bumps in this road are smoothed out, and the steering is good.
Und auch die Lenkung ist für meinen Geschmack ausreichend direkt genug.
The design of the next generation of Qashqais has been made sharper. The front end is dominated by the arrow-shaped headlights with daytime running lights. The unpainted underride protection and overarches reveal the vehicle's off-road pedigree. The sloping lines of the roof, however, say passenger car. The rear end, with the spoilers, is also more sporty than robust. Is there enough room for passengers in the back? Sasha says yes. He has room for his knees and his head, although his hair does brush the roof. But that doesn't bother him. Sasha also likes the view through the sunroof. The back seat is the best place to enjoy that. The view to the rear is restricted by the car's design. On the other hand, Nissan offers the surround view system, which gives you a bird's eye view of the vehicle. That's particularly helpful for parking.
Hier bekommt man eine Vogelperspektive vom Auto angezeigt, und gerade beim Einparken ist das überaus hilfreich.
The system is a standard feature of the deluxe version. Unfortunately, the interior looks cheaper than it actually is. Still, this model does have partial leather seats and a leather-covered gear stick. Sasha says that if you've got your key in your pocket, you can unlock the trunk like this. The trunk has a volume of 430 liters, which can be expanded to 1,585 liters by putting the seats down. The rear seating is divided in two, whereas a triple division would have been better. That makes the car less versatile than it could be. The car we tested is equipped with a 1.6-liter diesel engine. All-wheel drive and an automatic transmission are options. We're happy with the front-wheel drive. The car has a capacity of 96 kilowatts and a top speed of 183 kilometers an hour. The automatic transmission makes the motor a bit sluggish. It takes 11.1 seconds to go from 0 to 100. Nissan developed the technology in conjunction with Renault. Sasha says with the new Qashqai, Nissan has improved on something that was already good. With its fuel efficiency and good basic features, it's a serious alternative for small families. The standard version of the car costs just under 20,000 euros in Germany, meaning it's an affordable vehicle that combines safety with drivability. Like earlier models, the Nissan Qashqai has the potential to be a real hit. The hybrid Hyundai i10 runs on liquid petroleum gas. It uses 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers and is rated to travel 450 kilometers before switching to the conventional gasoline engine. In Germany, the Hyundai i10 with its environmentally friendly 1.0 LPG engine and the Trend features will set you back around 13,000 euros. The BMW Concept Roadster provides a first look at what could be the new motorcycle roadster generation with a water-cooled two-cylinder boxer engine. The 1,170 cubic meter engine has a capacity of 92 kilowatts with 7,750 RPM and a maximum torque of 125 Newton meters. Car tester Matthias Kurat explains that the Association of International Motor Vehicle Manufacturers originally started the Mobil International in Leipzig to give imported makes a larger showcase. Now Germany's second biggest automotive trade fair also features many German car makers. BMW has a production facility in Leipzig, so it has nothing less than its entire range at the AMI. Joining the products already out there are some new releases. BMW's Roland Krüger explains that this year the car maker is presenting 2 European premieres and 1 German premiere, the Active Tourer, and premiering for Europe, the new X4 and the convertible M4. Porsche also has a plant near the trade fair grounds and will not let BMW leave it in the dust, even if it has no premieres of its own. But many of the luxury models are seldom seen on the streets, so they're just as much a treat for the AMI visitors. Audi is celebrating the world premiere of its S7 sports car. The 4-liter V8 engine puts out a killer 331 kilowatts of power. What's thoroughly new about this one is the design, starting with a single-frame grille in front and many other highlights. The S7's V8 twin-turbocharged engine features cylinder on demand, so it can be driven as a V8 or a V4.
Mit Zylinder on demand, also man kann das Fahrzeug als V8 fahren oder als V4 fahren.
VW is celebrating the 40th anniversary of its Golf with a special model, the Golf Edition. It's joined by the sportiest and most fuel-efficient version of the compact classic to date. Matthias has also spotted the series version of the Beetle Dune on the VW stand. It has an extra 50 millimeters clearance and an electronic differential lock that gives it handling like its dune buggy namesake. Eye-catching is the innovative ski rack built into the rear spoiler. The Mercedes-Benz stand also plays up the luxury, but without forgetting practical concerns. Matthias reminds us that Mercedes-Benz premiered the sedan version of its C-Class in Geneva just a few months previously, and the station wagon version, the T model, in Bremen a couple of weeks ago. Now here in Leipzig, the public is getting its first glance at the vehicle. With over 1,500 liters of cargo space and a wide range of engines, it appeals to business travelers and families alike. Green is Skoda's vision for the fair, not just because of its natural gas-powered G-Tec models, but because of its Vision C, designed to offer a preview of the Czech car maker's design vocabulary in years to come. In technological terms, the show car is based on VW's modular architecture. Skoda Germany head Imelda Labe stresses that right now it's a prototype, but one that's already had a very clear impact on the company's new models and will definitely shape models to come. Opel has had a long struggle with its public image, but that may well be over. Its broad range of models and alternative powertrains are aimed at giving the make a new shine for all classes of car buyers. Opel Sales and Marketing Director Jürgen Keller says, along with many innovations, and it's always important for Opel to have a German premiere in Leipzig. So the Atom Rocks is making its debut at the 2014 AMI. He says that Atom Rocks caused quite a stir last year as a prototype, so Opel decided they'd go ahead and put it out on the market. 280,000 visitors came to see the automotive industry's latest creations at the last AMI 2 years ago, with slightly more expected this time around. As the car makers see it, the more, the merrier. Car tester Ines Petri is taking Porsche's new Panamera S e-hybrid for a spin. The first thing she notices is how quiet it slips along. That's because of its electric motor. Now she wants to see what Porsche's hybrid can do. Porsche had already put out a hybrid version of its Panamera in 2010, but the technology for the second generation is a great leap forward. The Panamera S e-hybrid's electric motor is twice as powerful, and its lithium-ion batteries have 5 times the capacity. Now they can be charged direct from a regular outlet. In hybrid mode, the SE hybrid puts out 306 kilowatts of power. Under the hood is a 3-liter V6 gasoline-powered engine. The electric motor sits on the rear drive unit, between the engine and the transmission. The trunk offers plenty of room for the recharging cable, with the battery unit right under the trunk floor. It can be charged in 2.5 hours from an industrial power socket, and in around 4 hours from a household outlet. When Ines turned the key, she could hardly even tell if the engine was actually running or not. But a green day glow needle told her the car was ready. In other words, the car was on and ready to go. Here are the specs at a glance. The plug-in hybrid leaps from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.5 seconds, putting it on par with the power of a classic V8 engine. Porsche rates the fuel consumption at 3.1 liters of premium per 100 kilometers, with CO2 emissions of 71 grams per kilometer. Ines explains that the car has 3 driving modes. In E mode, you're driving on electric power. The car is running on the batteries only. Turn the E mode off, and you're driving in hybrid mode, which means the gasoline engine pitches in. This mode goes easy on the batteries, whose power is safe for city driving. If she wants to recharge the batteries a little, she selects the e-charge mode, so the car drives on gasoline power, and the batteries are recharged by regenerative braking. For city driving in the purely electric mode, the Panamera S e-hybrid can range from 18 to 36 kilometers. Ines points out that the electric motor makes a lot of sense in town because it's free of emissions. But you have to be very careful, since the car doesn't make any noise, meaning that you have to pay especially close attention to pedestrians and bike riders when approaching them from behind. Often, they can't hear the car coming. Inside, the SE Hybrid featured the exacted Porsche luxury with lots of room for the driver and passengers. And working the hybrid systems using the switches on the center console is child's play. Ines finds the car's technology simply fascinating. That is, the interaction of gasoline and electric engines in hybrid mode and how they mutually support one another. At the same time, she likes having control over the system. She can be driving on the gasoline engine and simply switch over to the electric motor without ever noticing the difference, except that the tachometer drops to 0. To sum up, Ines says this is a truly extraordinary Porsche. Some drivers might miss the familiar Porsche sound like she did at first, but then you realize what kind of technology you're dealing with and how it's working behind the scenes almost unnoticeably. When you consider how much has changed from one generation to the next, you get a sense of how much potential remains for future progress. Starting at nearly 111,000 euros in Germany, the Panamera and its green technology certainly don't come cheap. But what Porsche does, the Porsche is simply an expensive car. Each year, the Alps around Kitzbühel host a very special event, and these are the star attractions, more than 200 classic antique cars. For 3 days, they transformed the Austrian landscape into an open-air automotive museum. It's a car lover's dream. She says she's been looking forward to the event all year. It's great fun and even better when they finally get underway. Now she just has to hope that her car is up to the challenge. In the past, some haven't managed it, but this one will, she thinks. Because it's Kitzbühel, the rally draws many celebrities, well-known actors and athletes. Skier Maria Höfelriesch is one of them. Nice people, she says, great cars, and it's a fantastic event. It's fun seeing all the roadsters and vintage cars, and the whole setup is a gas, too. The rally doesn't require speed. It's about skill and timing. And the road book is something special, too. It's a real challenge, even for extreme athletes like Felix Baumgartner. Baumgartner tells us how it works. There's a time card and a stopwatch. You have an unfamiliar car to contend with. This is a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle with 135 horsepower. It's a rally Beetle, as you can see from the interior and seats. It's a fun car to drive. Then there's the road book, the stopwatch, the trip master. For a first-timer, it's a real challenge. He's got ambitions this time around, so he's got the owner to explain the car to him.
Nachdem ich ja ein sehr ehrgeiziger Mensch bin, habe ich mich jetzt mal informiert beim zuständigen Herrn, wie das jetzt alles funktioniert.
This year, race car driver Hans-Joachim Stuck has asked his son Johannes to go behind the wheel of his Golf GTI.
Super, danke dir. Auf geht's.
To get ready for the starting gun, celebrity chef Johann Lafer gives his VW bus some pampering.
Ist das Salatöl?
A top up with some old pressed olive oil. Nothing but the best will do. His baby is a Type 2 Volkswagen bus, a true original from 1967. This one is off-white and sports 44 horsepower. A great car to coast along the Alpine roadways. In historic Rottenberg, there's a test section straight through town, but there's an unexpected development. Lafer needs some help, but it's not a technical breakdown. He just simply ran out of gas. He takes it with good humor. Driving with no gas would be an amazing trick, but it never works. It's time to take on the Alpine passes. For the vintage cars, there's a real challenge ahead. The Großglockner High Alpine Road. 14 hairpin turns up to elevation 2,400 meters. Some of these beauties are 70 years old, so the incline really puts them through their paces. And what do the drivers get out of it? He says it's all about the pleasure of driving. He agrees the weather could be better, but he'll manage. This driver says it's about the cars. An antique car will outlast them all. It'll even be around for the next generation. If anything goes wrong with the car, you can always fix it back up again. This incline takes the engines to their limits. On the way back down, it's the old drum brakes that need to show what they're made of. And then there's the time cards to contend with. At most antique car rallies, it's not about speed. You have to do each leg in a specified time, and there's penalties for being too late or too early. The Großglockner is supposed to take 23 minutes and 9 seconds. Despite the almost wintry conditions, many of the drivers still took their tops down. Finally, the cars crossed the finish line in Kitzbühel, with thousands of fans here to greet them. Open-top race cars, elegant coupes, roadsters, sedans, it's all here. Then there's the beautiful landscape and the charming Alpine town. What more could anyone ask for? This man agrees. True antique car buffs want to show off their cars. They don't want them to just sit in a garage somewhere. So a rally like this, where everyone's thrilled to see the cars and enjoy them, is a fantastic experience.
Das freut mich auch. Und deshalb machen wir es.